Are you a book lover or enthusiast? Do you need genuine and unique lifestyle products? Or are you looking for a place where you can find contemporary and a wide range of unique gifts for children and adults? Laterna is your go-to place for genuine and contemporary books and lifestyle products for wholesale and retail customers. We stock business books on management, leadership, financial success, entrepreneurship, personal development, and so much more. We carry children's non-fiction, educational books, CDs, and DVDs. We also stock Christian books on various themes, such as family life and parenting, work life and faith, spiritual living, love, sex, and marriage, to mention but a few. Laterna carries life and style books such as baby and child care, beauty and style, conception and pregnancy, crafts, and hobbies. We also carry adult, children, and teenagers' Bible, educational toys, print art, gifts, greeting cards, home and office fragrances, music CDs and DVDs, stationery, teaching, and lots more. Our stores are located at 1611 Ijewere Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, and 12C Guavo Street, Victoria Island. You can also shop online at www.laterna.com. The Lifestyle Hub. For inquiries, call 0803
This one is the one that is in
0809 525 0809 525 84 0809 525 34. Chat with us via WhatsApp 0810 023 444. You may also reach us on social media via Twitter at Laterna Books, Instagram at Laterna Books, and Facebook at Laterna Books.
The intelligence, Laterna, which is the lifestyle for lovers. I'll talk a bit about Laterna and the various other products that we have. As a lifestyle store and a literature company, and a very strong focus on customer satisfaction, we've gone from a Christian bookstore to one of the most reliable sources for business books, Bibles, Christian books, children's book, educational toys, which we have on that side of the room. We also have various gift items. We have artworks, picture frames. We also have gift bags and gift wraps, home and office fragrances of various types of fragrances, a large range. We have music CDs, DVDs. We have stationery. We're like a stationery like a W. Smith in Nigeria. We have all our files in that corner, the different colors and different sizes. We also have Bluetooth speakers and various musical instruments. We have a large range of over 500 journals of different colors and sizes. Laterna has grown from a small bookshop, Christian store, to now a resource company that is trying to meet various types of category of requests for various corporate organizations, churches, supermarkets, and also retail, various families. I'll give you a look at what we've done in the last 3 years before our review comes in. Let's have a picture of the book review in the last 3 years for the benefit of those who are joining us for the first time. When we started doing the book review in 2020, we started with one at a time, and she did the book on 4 disciplines of leadership, which is a leadership book. And then we had Mr. Benga Foleo. He did a book on what every man wants in a woman and what every woman wants in a man. This is a book on marriage. Dr. Abby William did this book that we're doing today, Eat This and Live. She's a doctor, and today we also have Dr. Patrick Ijewere, who would also be doing it. the book on wellness and lifestyle. Dr. Usain Udo of Dangote Group, he did a book on the dichotomy of leadership, which was a leadership book. Mrs. Okoye on the 5 love languages of children, a book on parenting. And Lamide Balogun, the Daniel Khan on health and diet. Then we have a book on Teamwork 101 by Don Maxwell. That was by Nike Ogulesi, who is the current head of the Rock and Tumble Group. Mrs. Nana Odejai, The Purpose Living Life by Rick Warren, a Christian living book. Little by Little, Hadeke Adepeto, she's an author. And her book was on the divine healing. Dr. Oke Eneleman, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Dr. Shola Folalade, a medical doctor and also a pastor, on how successful people lead by John Maxwell. It's a leadership book. You'll be surprised that some of the pastors who did the book review, like Pastor Pojo Oyemade, just books on teamwork. I'll get there. And Shola Folalade was on leadership. Because what we do is we talk to most of these leaders and they tell us the book that has transformed their life and made an impact on their life or their family. Udo Okonjo, The Tools of Titanic. It's also a leadership book. African Farmer Mogaji, Farming by Revelation. This is the book of farming and agriculture and entrepreneurship. Nike Aladisi, The Linear Diet, which is also on health and diet. Femi Edu was A Promised Land. That book was by Barack Obama, autobiography. Then Pastor Poju Oyemade on John Colbert, it was a biography. That was a book that transformed his life. Bimba Shomolu, For the Love of Family, she's also an author. And she wrote a book on love, sex, and marriage. Attitude 101 was by Odo Ayosoya, who is the current head of MTN. And MTN, the CSR, I would say the MTN Foundation. So, the MTN Foundation. Her book was on Attitude 101, how attitude changes lives and can change transform an organization. You are the Zacchaeus, God's waiting room, in case you are waiting for the fruit of the womb. And it was God's waiting room 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yemisi Ayeni, who is also a director of one of the multinational, The Truth Beholds. She wrote that was by Kamala Harris, current Vice President of the US, an autobiography. Ndidi Umonelu, food entrepreneurs in Africa. We know Ndidi has a passion for the agri space and food security. Kainde Wane, The Leader's Greatest Asset, which was part 1 and 2. Sunday Olise, a footballer, Audacity to Refuse. That was his own My Story autobiography. Lady Onyeka Owenu, My Father's Daughter. She did a review. It was also an autobiography. And then we have Bisi Adeyemi. She did a book on Success is a Choice by John Maxwell, the leadership book. Get Fit and Leave by Tommy Rotary, which is by Don Colbert, the person that wrote the book of today. Then that was on healthy living. I came back with Leaders Eat Last. Most of these videos are on our YouTube channel and they're just for a few minutes, 15-30 minutes. You could also review them or buy the books here in the store. Bridget Oyes Vessel of the Sun. Her book was on Built for the Storm, and that was a motivation book about her life because she's with standard diabetes. And what happened to her? Something unexpected happened at the age of, and so she wrote the book at 50 because her husband had to be trained and taught how to read and write at an age of 40, 58. And so it was a true life story. And she spoke about how she had to start all over again. It's a book that, one should read. And she's still working. And she has to also support her husband. And he has started being able to read for ABC at a late age. So, when these books, we're passionate about these books because the unexpected happened. When she was talking about it, she didn't expect it. So at the age of 50, she decided that she was built for the storm and would encourage other people. It was very emotional because she was crying when she was reviewing the book. So I'd encourage you to buy that book. Kayode Oluwasegun, the ex-MD of NACO. Make today count. Why should people waste their time rather than invest their time and make everything count? And he spoke about the NACO experience. It was a motivational book, how he used to go into the planes when he was the MD of NACO and help in cleaning the planes with the cleaners. Leadership by example. Mrs. Taiwo, her own book was due to my mother's daughter, the loss of her daughter, and how, for that loss, she pushed Lagos State to make sure they had lights, road lights on every junction, because that happened to my child. So people are so passionate about writing books from an experience. Funke Sudan Emedu on the rookie entrepreneur. Winifred Owokedi, prescription for life, that was also on healthy living. How do we eat well? And that's what we're doing today. How do we prevent sickness rather than look after sickness or try to attend to issues thereafter? It's better to eat well. Food is medicine and medicine is food. And Winifred is over 60 and she doesn't look it. And she did a review of the prescription for life, which is about eating right and exercise and lifestyle. Emeka Undu, Leadership 101. How does that help team and organization to advance? Apostle Folanshaw Alakija, which we know is one of the richest women in the world. Her book on Listen, How I Blossomed at the age of 70. My life was about her life and not about her. The Power of Habits, Rookie Smith. What does habit do to transform you as a leader? The now that execution, that was also good. How do you execute what you plan in your organization? Our iceberg is melting by Katie Ojo, Sunny Enebi, living in tough times. Aspect Budami, current chairman, I think, of Nigerian Breweries, and also he's running from governor of Edo State. He also has Igudami and Co, the law firm. He's also NESG. And how successful people think. Most of the people that review books read books. They have libraries. And he was very happy to do this. That he chose the book. That if you don't have your thinking days and if you don't think, you can't be successful. It's important to set time to think. You are Zacchaeus, an eventful life as an entrepreneur. All her various investments and how that has helped her from a banker to a lawyer and now an entrepreneur. Coco Kalangri. This is Pastor Adeboye. I'm sure we have it here. We have this is various books on who this is. Who is this?
Yes, we have.
It should be of this show. She was about Pastor Adeboye. Tomi, son of many paths, an entrepreneur book. To my younger self, by Ronke Onoteko, how to mentor the younger generation. George Onofoko, Atomic Habits, how habits are so important before he formed as he's built an organization, Coleman. Then we have Bala Martel Opo, she spoke about the excellent life series. Chike Onya, emotional intelligence, that's his passion. Ego Oveno, manage your time and then you manage your life. Then unleash your superpowers by Felicia Badamosi. She found herself talking too much at a young age. It's when the reviewer comes in, let me know. I'm just trying to, if you can call him, please. She spoke about how she was very talkative when she was young and she transformed that talkativeness to being a public speaker. And Abiola Salami, the peak performing woman's opinion. And then we have also Chike Onya, How to Be Intelligent Without It, to be his own book that he wrote. Fem Ojumo, Dynamic Intersections of Economics. That was the law book. And then last month we had Kiari Booker on Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, a motivational book. I would say most of the book reviews are on our YouTube channel, and most of the books are on the shelf here on the shop floor. So without wasting more time, I will hand over to our moderator for today. Most people don't know him. He's the one and the head of Channels Book Club. He has a passion for books. He loves books. He helps people to write books and anything to do with the clothes. He loves it. So I'll welcome you, Mr. Kulekasi, to the Laterna Book Club just before our review for today arrives. He's running late, coming from somewhere. He'll be here in 5 minutes, okay? So you can just engage everyone before he arrives.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be here as always. And I hope we have been reading. I always challenge people to read. At the beginning of the year, I said to people, if you pick just one book a month, by December, you're done with 12 books. And if you pick one book in 2 months, then by December, you're done with 6 books. If you read a book a week, like I do, then you can do the numbers. I'm forced to do it, by the way, because of my work. So I don't have a choice. I have to interview an author every week, so I have to read the book. Somebody once asked me that, do you read all the books? I said, how am I going to talk to them if I don't read the book? I'll sound very stupid. So I'm often forced to read the books. The unofficial thing is that it's not all the books I read that excites me because of my job. I have to read the book, so I have to interview the author. So, but when people say I struggle with reading, I always say find a book that excites you to read, and you don't need to read a big book. You can always read something sizable. It's easy to read. So that's by the way. The topic today is this book titled Eat This and Live. There are actually 2 parts of it. By Don Colbert. I don't know if any of us have read his books before, but it's fantastic. When it comes to healthy living and all that, he's an expert there. He combines medicine with some level of spirituality. Write his books and they are very, very, very powerful. I wouldn't say so much because I'm not the one who's supposed to talk about it today, but what I can say in summary is that it's a very powerful book. I found very powerful, very life-changing. And it's challenged me to pick the other one. Try to remember the title of the other one. Let me see if it's at the back of this. Yes.
What you don't know is killing you.
No.
Okay, let me get
Fit and Live or something. Same color, same. It looks exactly almost like it's almost confused the 2 books because they are designed the same way. Do you have it? The other one. Okay, please bring a copy. It's highly recommended. And the way his books are produced, they're also very colorful. If you look at the pages, they are very colorful, and then they are written in bite sizes. So you have a lot of nuggets put in small boxes here and there. So it's the kind of book that you may not need to read it from the beginning sequentially to the end. You could just have a few minutes and just look at the table of contents, pick an interesting topic, open the chapter and just pick nuggets. So it's really creatively designed. You can see here, very colorful. So I guess that's why it's a bit pricey, but it's worth every cover. Different the other one. I'm surprised I forgot the title. They're really very similar.
Is it for the kids?
No. Yeah, there are 2 of this. So he's also the author of The 7 Pillars of Health, which is perhaps his most popular book. And then Toxic Review. Yeah, you can read that one too. Yeah, you can read it. Yeah, but can you find the other one? This one, okay. Okay, so you can see Eat This and Live for kids. That's the same one, but adapted for kids. Alright, so it discusses basically the usuals that people expect. The importance of diets. They need to watch what we're eating, what we should eat, what we should not eat. I'm trying to force myself, to make sure I don't say everything that our guest needs to say. Just talk generally. So the usual things, diets, what to eat, what not to eat, and all those. But I think the thing about this book and the others I've read is it seems to be a bit more practical and slightly more flexible, rather than pigeonhole us or put us into boxes in terms of what we must or not eat. He talks very generally and he shares principles to guide our choices. That's one of the things I enjoy about this. Apart from the fact that his points are made in very, very interesting points, nuggets type, ways that don't bore you when you're reading. Found it. Okay. You don't have that one. There's another book. Okay. But this were not written by Colbert. So they don't have the other one. Okay. Yeah. Well, it looks almost like it. I have a copy of it. I got confused. I have to check whether I picked the right one. So he does go around to make his points. Then another thing he brings into this is, which he usually does in his book, is he brings in the biblical dimension to what he's talking about here. The Bible is quite strong on dietary. The Old Testament, particularly when God was talking to the Israelites and explaining to them what they should not eat and all that. It's very interesting because a few years ago I went to visit a friend of mine in Germany, a long-term friend I'd not seen for many years. I didn't know that he had become it's not Judaism particularly, you don't call it that Judaism, but he practices a religion that takes the Torah very seriously, basically the Lord of Moses. So that's influenced his diet. It was a struggle for me. I said for him for 2 weeks, and it was a big struggle because don't eat this, don't eat that. Everything in the Torah was what he was following. But after 2 weeks, he actually convinced me the merits of those, from a very medical perspective. That those things that you see there in the Bible, those Testament, that they're actually there for a reason, and they're not medical merits. I'm sorry about this. Okay, so that's. I'm very happy you're here, sir. Well, folks, sir. Well, very welcome, sir. We've been waiting for this time. I will hand over the mic immediately. Although I've asked them to bring the
Alright. Such a question. How much water should we consume? 8 bottles of the.
A gallon, sorry. A
gallon is about 4 liters.
Yeah.
Alright, not bad. What about that? Yes,
It was as much as you can consume.
Is there a downside to consuming too much water?
Is there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
What's the downside? Hydration.
I've heard it said, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
You flush out, I think I've read somewhere, like flush out some food or nutrients.
So, natural spring water, it's not just pure H2O. It has a lot of minerals in it. A lot of the osmosis water that we buy, whether it's brands called Seaway or the other big brands, have through the osmosis process remove those micronutrients, those minerals. It's just pure H2O. Your body actually needs those micronutrients. So ideally, if you're drinking water, spring water, which has those nutrients, we say about 3 liters a day for the adult. Throughout the day. A little bit further, based on what he has said here. And in the first half of the day, continue with a liter of water, half to 1 liter of water, just to wash the body out. If your water is not pure spring water, what you need to do is you can add a pinch of salt, not the regular commercial salt. Rock salt, sea salt, and the popular one the Himalayan salt. I'm waiting for some. The natural salt.
Yes, sir, about tea?
Yes.
No, tea, you can.
Whether it's black.
Let's pause on one. What really is tea? What is tea?
The plant.
Infused leaves. Whether it's ugu, whether it's spinach, whether it is lemongrass, whether it is the black tea, whether it's green tea, whether it's even what's that popular one? Moringa.
Yeah.
Once you add hot water to any leaf, you get an extract, an infused extract. That's tea. That's tea. Diet for rice.
We have brown rice, we have red rice.
The brown rice is okay.
Pure brown rice is okay.
Yeah.
You can start a little mix, do a gradual transition over several days. If you have rice every day, maybe the first day you put about 10% brown rice. Next day, 20%, 30%. By the following week, you have 50%, 60%. There's red rice also, which is actually more nutritious than.
But I understand brown rice has arsenic, which is a poison.
We're missing
White rice is poison in that case.
Doctor, can you come to the front? Because we are missing. Everybody will enjoy it.
Yes. The concern about arsenic and rice is not just brown rice, even white rice. In parts of the Far East, some of the chemicals they use in the field is arsenic based. And the residue remains in that rice that we import. Okay. Alright, so we talked about caffeine.
We know that there's power in nature. But the problem I have with assessing is the fact that medically, it gives you prescription, it takes 1 pill a day, this one, but like if we go on a frolic of eating natural things, blending, cucumber, blending, there's no measurement to it. I remember there was a time I went for wellness tests and the doctor did a lot of tests on me, said my alpha protein was high and said, do you take any abo? And I said, no, I don't take abo. And the next time I said, but I take cucumber, I blend. He said, all of them are categorized as taboo. He said, stop everything you are doing. Stop, don't eat anything, don't blend the cucumber, blend the pawpaw leaf, blend this and the drink. Stop it. And the way she went about it, I'm like, did I say an offense? And she says, it's wrong for you to be drinking all those. There's no measurement to it. You people keep drinking. So I got a bit confused because I don't know which one to drink now and which one not to drink.
Please, give us this book to that doctor. Very few doctors have the boldness and depth of knowledge as Dr. Colbert to break away from the I don't want to say arrogance, from the lack of acknowledgement that we don't have the knowledge as conventionally trained medical doctors to talk about nutrition. We don't. Period. We don't. It's not taught in medical schools. It's not. So we're not qualified to talk about nutrition, whether it is cucumber or it is banana or mango. We're not. Very few doctors have gone the extra mile, such as Dr. Colbert. And once doctor steps into this realm, it's like they're in a toy store because they find so many new tools and they go into the realm. Online, there's so many of them. There's Dr. Berg, there's so many of them, without mentioning names, online, who understand principles of using nature to reverse the body's ailments.
Doctor, there's a question online.
Let me do my own thing. The first chapter is titled Living Food versus Dead Food. So it says some things you eat give you life, some things you eat bring death. That's what it said in the first chapter. So I'd like you to say something about this. And then in addition to that, I want to join Madam. You know, one of the problems I have with this subject is that at some point in time it gets very confusing. Because this expert says it's this, then another expert says that same thing the other expert said you should eat, you should stop eating. You know, don't eat eggs and all that. So it gets confusing. So I'd like you to, referring to what Dr. Colbert said here to help us answer that?
In the first to the three chapters, he touches this beautifully. It starts with Genesis. And Genesis is all about eating foods that have seeds. If you truly want to heal, you must go back to ground zero. The Bible is very clear about the green leaves of healing. When we reverse disease, that's diabetes, it's lupus, arthritis, or even cancer. The experts who reverse disease go back to the basics, go back to nature. The greens, the vegetables, some of the fruits also, some of the nuts and seeds. So, whatever source your expert is quoting, not going back to ground zero, the Bible and Genesis. Now, living food versus dead food. Human body is a living flow, a living river. Everything in us non-stop is in flux. New cells are being made, old cells are being removed 24/7. Your entire engine, cells are creating energy for you, rely on enzymes. What are enzymes? They're catalysts, living catalysts. It's not a living machine. It requires also those living enzymes, vegetables, fruits. It requires those living nutrients. And very simply put, the more dead food you put in your system, the less optimal your body.
It's rice. What are the categories of this?
We'll start from the worst and we'll come to the in-between. The worst ones are the highly processed ones. Anything in a box, anything that comes from a factory where it is now canned and packaged.
It's just rice, what rice?
Yes, it is.
Rice.
Yes, ma'am.
How about bread?
Yes, ma'am. Times 2.
How about brown bread? Brown bread.
Yes, ma'am.
Breakfast for children.
What are we doing before bread came? How long has bread been in Nigeria?
I was thinking I was born.
Thank you.
At least I need bread.
Bread is a construct of the colonial influence. Maybe about 150 years. Prior to that, what was he eating?
Yeah.
For breakfast? Yes, yam.
Yeah.
There's pap, cornmeal, there's aja. There's many other things that we ate before the box cereals. Box cereals are dead. You go to the factory and see how it's processed. All right.
Kids that were feeding cereal and animal milk, but the poisoning them, that's essentially that's milk.
The statement in here, find it, I will read it word for word. That this is the first generation of children who will live less than their parents. When I was in residency in Baltimore, the orthopedic surgeons would say if an African comes for knee or bone surgery, they sweat. Because of the density and thickness of the African bone. Amongst our children, what's that density? Go to a lab that does the densitometer. Our children's bone density today is near what grandparents. Even there's a book called Nutrition and Human Degeneration by past winners and dentists. Nutrition and Human Degeneration. It shows when children move from eating traditional food in the villages to cities where there's a lot of Western influence, as Colbert addresses, they lose not only in the bone density, even their bone structure, even the arch in their mouth, their teeth and dental structure. It becomes worse. Nutrition and Human Degeneration. There's one to enjoy strong bones, longevity, start giving your children living food right from day one. And day one is not when they are born, no. When is day one? When is day one?
Today.
When is day one?
Day one of the child.
Before conception.
Before conception. The moment you decide you want to have children, you start preparing the body. You start preparing the sperm and the eggs by your nutrition. In many other cultures, before you get married, you go to what's called the fattening room. It's actually a place where they teach you how to eat, prepare your eggs for fertilization. Because many of us are totally because to that art. Carried here in parts of cultures here in Nigeria. Before you got married, they sent the women off to certain places to prepare their body nutritionally, to optimize their eggs. But the woman is not. It's not.
Dr. I want to read that last question. Which are the examples of living foods and they actually wrote scared? Living foods, examples here: fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, and nuts. Living foods exist in a raw or close to raw form. Living foods exist in a raw or close to raw state and are beautifully packaged in divinely created wrappers called skins and peels. Living foods look robust, healthy, and alive. They have not been bleached, refined, or chemically enhanced and preserved. Living foods are plucked, harvested, and squeezed, not processed, not packaged, and not put on shelves. Then he gives examples of dead foods. Dead foods are the opposite. They have been altered in every imaginable way to make them last as long as possible and be as addictive as possible. That usually means the manufacturer adds considerable amounts of sugar and man-made fats that involve taking various oils and heating them to dangerously high temperatures. Does that answer your question on pizza, man?
Yes.
So in our first be like the West, we're going in the wrong direction.
You know, I was reading something here about MSG, and I was wondering if you would say something about it.
Monosodium glutamate.
Was it in our quest to be like the West, or was it in our quest to? I think we thought we were improving. That's how it was sold to us. And then also the shelf life for things. We can't actually, because we don't have power, we can't refrigerate and keep fresh food for so long. So I guess these are the reasons. This is for me the reason why we have evolved today. And then we live in cities, not in the village. So how do we balance this?
Yes.
So now small, but then
Yes, there are actually people who talk urban farming. Yeah, in the question about MSG. Who knows what MSG stands for? The truth about MSG. It's a lab chemical. It's synthesized by man. It's used for several things, including to create verified lab rats for experimentation. Man has now found that you can use it to alter the phone call. When you're eating food, at a certain point, your stomach sends a signal to the brain. It's okay, push back. It's called an excitotoxin, which explains in this book. Yeah. It excites the brain, point where the cells die. Very exciting. I have a nutritionist colleague in Ghana who calls MSG containing foods. Like spaghetti, hunger, you name all the brands. You know what he calls them? The widow maker. The widow maker. Highly inflammatory condiment. There's no questions online.
this. Okay, so there's a question online so that we can.
The plants, people are doing home farms now. We're talking about plants, these are now home farms. We have someone in our church who does not buy vegetables, just on his veranda. He has pots where he's growing all those efo, parsley, coriander, all the plants. So we need to get going back to that.
So some questions online. Please, is BMI weight the true ideal weight? I have early, I don't know if I got this right, I have early onset of arthritis, and these days doctors are in a hurry to suggest knee replacement. Someone said the best is weight loss, but this is so difficult during menopause. Then another question is PAP not processed?
That's a good question.
Let's take that last question first. We just read the space on living food. Exists in a close thought state. Especially if it's homemade pap. It's an index, ratio of height to weight. It simply gives it I just do how is your weight based in relation to your height. If it passes on 4, I think it is of 30, it's obesity. Above 7, it's overweight. Low, you're underweight. It's a reference range to use all parameters.
I've never seen anyone that is in it. Never seen anyone with
Nigeria. It's like
many of us very boring.
All right, let's go to the chapter on.
So just the last thing on oils. You know, we had this whole conversation: the vegetable oil, the canola oil, this and that. You know, we have our local oil, the palm oil. So which oil is good or no oil?
Let's go back to that principle. Close to raw, close to nature. What oils is the processing process to raw, close to nature?
Oil.
Oil.
Pressed coconut oil.
Old expressed coconut oil, old expressed palm oil, old expressed olive oil. If you do, just use that principle. How it goes to use for
oil and sea oil.
most of your imported oils, soybean oil, nut oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, these are highly processed oils. Use chemicals and plastic heat.
What should we use?
Again, the principle is use an oil that is close to its raw state. Palm oil was mentioned, traditional groundnut oil was mentioned, olive oil was mentioned, also cold expressed. Cold press.
Like on the screen.
I read somewhere that when you use olive oil, you must not heat it up.
Oils have different properties. Again, discusses oil in this book. Some oils are not heat tolerant. They are very low. Some call it a heating point, some call it a burning point, depending on quality. Olive oil doesn't tolerate mild, minimal. Once oils that tolerate higher heat for cooking, go with palm oil, not oil, not oil. What do you say?
Rapeseed oil.
Yes, I want oil. One thing around us here, red palm oil. That's another day's question because he didn't talk about red palm oil in this book, didn't? It's not in his cultural milieu.
It doesn't know, yeah.
Many of us today have bastardized red palm oil because of what the West has done to skew us towards their own troublesome oils. You guys can go back and look at red.
Doctor, I honestly can't imagine life without rice. Yeah, so you need to help me with this is personal counseling now. Help me with the alternative to rice. That's my way. But meanwhile, you know, a conclusion I reached and I would like your expert advice. The conclusion I reached after a few years ago, I had a near-death experience that made me look at my nutrition, forced me to look at my nutrition and all that. And at some point in time, I got very confused because I was reading and hearing a lot of conflicting. I then reached a conclusion, which is the basis of my question to you, that I think the law for eating, as far as I'm concerned, is moderation. You know, just be very moderate. You know, just be moderate. Whatever you're eating, be moderate. And I learned that from a very elderly person who I regard as a role model. He's in his 90s. He eats anything, but he eats very little. And he does a lot of physical. Yes, even now in his 90s, he's still walking, he walks around, he does a lot of things. The man even takes alcohol, about 92 or 93. He likes his glass of, yeah. So I looked at him and I said, is that the trick here, or is it a wrong philosophy to adopt?
That word moderation in the wrong hands is a very dangerous word. In the wrong hands, that word moderation is a very dangerous word. I was privileged to give a talk to a group of clergymen, and the issue was asked about moderation and alcohol. And someone said, moderation is this much. And that said, mine is a goblet. One said, mine is a full bottle. So moderation is a very dangerous word in a mischievous manner. It's meant well, but moderation. There's some things you should really moderate down. Things you moderate up. Like water. Sugar should be down there, moderation. Meat, down there, moderation. Milk. Just take it off the table altogether. Cow's milk. You can do coconut milk, almond milk, coconut milk. Oat milk. It doesn't. With oat milk, who's cultivating it? How is it being processed? It comes from 1,000 miles across the water. Things are done to it to make sure it stays alive till it gets to you. It's still okay till it gets to you. Minimize the end of the life things. The growth and so on. Somebody said, when I asked about what would Jesus eat, what did somebody say? Honeycomb. Can't go wrong with mine. I mean, children, not for babies, but children above. But maybe they enjoy honey. Let mom eat the honey. They'll come out to the breast milk.
And couscous is basically rice.
What is couscous? Grain of what sauce? It's a wheat. And so we're eating books that boiled wheat. Completely.
What about pounded yam and amala and
Dr. Colbert doesn't discuss.
On ripe plantain.
We are removing this book now. Let's go to the yam.
Please don't ask us not to eat pounded yam.
It is part of our innate strength building, longevity lasting, better food. Yes.
Not poundo, right?
Not poundo, not semo either.
Natural yam.
Natural yam.
In moderation.
Oh, those ones we buy
In the packs.
You buy the yam, you eat it.
The butter I use to it.
but we can use yam powder.
Yes. Yes.
Use water.
Is the powder you pack it?
That one is it.
Okay. Before let me pause your question. It's an area I want to touch on a lot. He goes into vitamins a lot in this book. He puts down vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C. Please read those chapters very well. Because many of us are showing up today with a deficiency, insufficiency. There's much more that we get from the sunlight beyond vitamin D. Some of my PM like the key of help the blood vessel. What does this? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, like potatoes. It's high in complex carbohydrates, which is the difference. Things like you go through your digestive system. Yeah, like it's very high in fiber, natural, most soluble and insoluble. Our native natural tubers, cocoa yam, regular yam, water yam, yellow yam, both the white one, yellow one, orange one, are very high in complex carbohydrates and complex fibers, soluble fibers, and that cause gradually increase sugar in the body. In terms of nutritional glycemic index, they're much better than semo and using it what I so-called my problem with old cow is imported. My brother is giving longevity. Those chemicals are. Yes, man. Thank you. Regular things. Yeah, reduce the meat. He talks a lot in the early chapters about staying close to nature. Each of us is given our own Garden of Eden, literally. Some of the charts he has here, this book was done in 2009. So some of the charts are a bit outdated. However, he doesn't consider appropriately a lot of our own ethnic foods. That is palm oil, that is sobo. There's a chart here for something called ORAC, oxygen radical capacity.